Welcome to our news updates. A group of U.S. lawmakers is calling on Elon Musk to make SpaceX's Starshield military satellite communications network available to U.S. defense forces in Taiwan after years of refusing to do business in the country. In a letter to Musk obtained by Forbes, Representative Mike Gallagher, Republican Wisconsin, reminded the billionaire of SpaceX's contractual obligation to supply the United States Department of Defense with global access to its satellite internet services. He noted that the Pentagon will spend tens of millions of dollars over the next year on Starshield, which uses satellites in low Earth orbit to provide communications and visual observations to the military team. I understand that SpaceX may be denying high-speed internet services in and around Taiwan, perhaps in violation of SpaceX's contractual obligations with the United States government, Gallagher, chairman of the Special Committee of the Chinese Communist Party, wrote in a letter dated 24. A robust communications network for U.S. military personnel in and around Taiwan is paramount. Important to protecting the United States' interests in the Indo-Pacific region, Gallagher said, adding that in the event of Chinese aggression against Taiwan, U.S. troops in the Western Pacific would be at serious risk. The letter asked Musk to provide the Select Committee with information about the availability of Starshield in and around Taiwan by March 8. For Musk, the request was bound to be confusing. He has close ties to China, where Tesla has a major manufacturing plant, and has spoken out very publicly about tensions between that country and Taiwan, an autonomous country it considers part of its territory. In 2022, Musk suggested that tensions between Taipei and Beijing could be resolved if some control of Taiwan was ceded to China. Before we continue, please support us by clicking on the subscription button and turn on the notification bell for more updates. The letter also highlights the uneasy dependence the U.S. government and military have developed on SpaceX satellites. The Texas-based company has launched more than 5,000 satellites since 2019 and is the world's leading provider of satellite communications services. It's often the only way to access the internet in remote areas, places devastated by natural disasters and war. The service has been crucial to Ukrainian forces battling a Russian invasion headed into its second year. But here two things are fraught. Ukraine military intelligence officials recently claimed Russian forces in the country are also using Starlink satellite internet terminals, undercutting a major battlefield advantage. Musk has denied selling Starlink service to Russia. Gallagher was in Taiwan this week with a delegation of Congress members meeting with officials, including President Tsai Ing-wen, and has discussed the country's need for a system like Starshield, which could back up its communications were China to cut the undersea cables that connect it to the rest of the world. Gallagher wrote in the letter that multiple sources had disclosed to the CCP committee that Starshield is currently inactive in and around Taiwan. Jason Su, a former member of Taiwan's legislature and now a fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School, told Forbes that he has also discussed the issue with members of the U.S. Congress. We are in the process of submitting a petition to the United States. The Ministry of National Defense passed the National Assembly to prioritize this issue in the next session, he said. Taiwan needs to prioritize satellite capabilities because our undersea cable infrastructure has been compromised. SpaceX did not respond to a request for comment at the time of publication. The issue becomes more urgent as the Pentagon focuses on Taiwan's future and the growing threat of a possible Chinese invasion of the island. Last February, Taiwan's National Communications Commission accused Chinese ships of cutting two underwater internet cables. That same month, CIA Director William Burns said President Xi Jinping had ordered the People's Liberation Army to prepare to attack Taiwan in 2027. And since new President Lai Ching-te, the rival elected on a pro-independence platform, elected last month, China has stepped up military protests and experts are warning of further cyber attacks. When Taiwan first began discussions with SpaceX about Starlink in 2019, officials hoped to ensure communications were independent of their undersea cables. But negotiations quickly broke down over a requirement that the government hold a majority stake in all telecommunications companies operating in the country. Musk asserted that he retains full ownership of Starlink's operations in Taiwan and requested that this requirement be lifted or changed. Negotiations have since stalled and Taiwan has begun developing its own satellite system. While Starlink is the obvious answer to Taiwan's communications vulnerabilities, Some say it is not the only answer. Starlink and Starshield could play an important role, but I don't want there to be a specific point of failure for satellite communications, Will Hurd, a former congressman, told Forbes. I was on the island 9 months ago. The Taiwanese people understand the threat, and one of the things we cannot allow is for the US government and industry players to continue to drag their feet. Taiwan continues to be wary of Musk's deep business ties to China and angered by his pro-Beijing comments. About 20% of Tesla's revenue comes from China, and more than half of its vehicles are produced at its giant Shanghai factory by 2022. When Musk said last September that Taiwan was an indispensable part of China, Taiwanese Foreign Minister Joseph Wu publicly reprimanded. He said, "Look, Taiwan is not part of China and certainly not for sale." It is unlikely that the mercurial Musk could be intimidated into activating Starshield in Taiwan under pressure from lawmakers. And in the past, it has restricted Starlink's access to disputed areas of Ukraine because it said it did not want to be clearly complicit in a major act of war and escalation of conflict. But given the importance of SpaceX's military contracts with the US government in Taiwan, they may have to make a choice. I think China's goal is clear, and that is to unify Taiwan with the mainland by force, if necessary, Gallagher told reporters in a phone call Friday. This story also makes us more concerned about some of the reports about SpaceX and Starshield not providing services to Taiwan. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section.